All right, this is Ask Him episode 29. That's crazy. This is going to be a great episode. You guys, you have asked me really great questions, and I can't wait to answer them. So a little bit about hormones, a little bit about gut health, a little bit about balance, a little bit about food and what to do when you're on the go. I have a truck driver that wants to make sure she eats healthy on the go. So great questions from you guys. Keep them coming. I love answering these. I also just did this really great podcast with Abel James, who's the fat burning man, and we just talked about balance and trying to find that fine line between pushing yourself and listening to your body. So we're going to tap in on that, especially with all this MPAC madness that is happening right now. And then lastly, I want to tell you before the intro what I ate, because I'm supposed to do that and I just really suck at doing that. So I am actually on, so some of you might know Matt Chan. He's a wonderful CrossFitter and a coach, and he is doing my programming, and so it's a little bit more longer based stamina work, which is awesome because it's something I'm not comfortable doing and I don't like doing it, which means I should be doing it. And so we're changing up my diet a little bit and we're adding a lot more carbs. So it's a lot more carb heavy this week than I've probably been ever. Just working on making sure that I'm dual fuel, like I'm using fat when I can, and then also using carbs when I can. Because as you guys know, as a CrossFitter, it's very high intensity, and if you don't have glycogen storages, then it can be very stressful for the body, and you're just gonna kind of hit the blah. You're gonna hit the, I don't know what I just did. It's just gonna suck. So what did I have? I'm about to mow on some Chipotle. You guys always, this is just a great go-to. Burrito bowl, lettuce, green salsa, double chicken, white rice. If you are on my challenge or doing my challenge, I don't really do white rice unless you're an athlete, unless you need that carb source. But then for breakfast, I had a chicken apple sausage, an egg, some squash, and some green juice from Pure Wad. So I'm feeling pretty good about my choices today in life. And I'm excited to see where this new way of eating takes me. I've tried every diet: ketogenic, cyclical ketogenic, low carb, high carb, low calorie, low fat, high fat. So just gonna keep you updated on how I feel. Welcome to the episode. All right, I'm pretty gross right now. I just finished working out, so please do not look too closely at my face. I feel like there's like boogers in my nose and my nails are gross. Okay, anyway, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about lots of great stuff. I wanted to first give you an MPAC update. This box right here is one of 36 boxes that I just unloaded, and these are the water reservoirs for your MPAC. So if you ordered an MPAC, even though it's still not to you, and I told you it would be there in June, which I'm kind of bummed about, we're one step closer. This is getting shipped to my distribution center, and then your home gym and a backpack is going to be on its way soon. So stay tuned for an update on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. There is a link right here somewhere for checking out the MPAC if you don't know what it is. Okay, questions. So let's jump in. This is a great question by Shelly C1384 on Instagram. She said, "Ask M, if you had no resources for cooking and limited grocery shopping opportunities, what would you live on? I'm a truck driver about to go back over their road and really afraid of putting the weight back on." Sitting and driving, I feel like that has to be the toughest job, because you really are, one, if I'm driving on a road trip, it is so hard for me to not just be hungry all the time. And then I get to the C-store or the convenience store or the gas station, and food that you never would have been interested in before starts to smell really good. That pizza and those corn dogs and those hot dogs. And so what I think is the best thing to do is, whether you're a driver for a living or if you're going on a road trip, is of course you have to pack a cooler and you have to prepare. And the best things are non-perishable items. So cans of tuna, whether that's Safe Planet or Wild Planet or Safe Catch tuna, those are great. I really love beef jerky. Steve's Paleo Kit has a ton. There's so many different types of beef jerky that are paleo approved and pretty low sugar. I try to stay away from ones that have soybean in it. So when you look at the ingredients, if it has soy sauce, it usually has gluten. I also love anything that, like frozen veggies, even though you can't really package them quickly, there's microwaves all across the country, so you can easily get, instead of doing fresh vegetables, which would spoil easily, you could bring bags of frozen veggies and throw them in a microwave and have a side of protein with your tuna. And then I like to kind of curb my cravings. I'm a big believer in herbal teas and fatty foods. So fat will help curb sugar cravings. So if I'm not eating good fats, then I'm gonna be more likely to want it and want the bad kind of fats, like the fried foods. And so I like avocados and MCT oil you can put in your coffee in the morning, nuts and seeds and peanut butter and almond butter. All of those are really important to have on hand, because when you eat enough fat, your cravings start to go away. And when you eat enough vegetables, your cravings start to go away. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but Pure Wad has a really great portable greens. It's a scoop of greens and it's like 25 vegetables. It's a little bit pricey, but so worth it, because if you don't get enough greens, you're not getting your vitamins and minerals and nutrients. And so even though it's good to eat raw veggies and a little bit cooked veggies to help break the nutrients up a little bit so they're more absorbed, this can be a really great alternative. Woo! Julia Mogley, number one. She had two questions. I'm just gonna answer number one. I don't know why I just broke out in an accent. Just number one, if you find out that you have a good allergy or sensitivity, I think she meant food. So if you have a food allergy or sensitivity, can you later add that food back in after healing your gut, or do you have to cut it out for good? So there's a great histamine test. So if you do Cocos Pulse, you check your pulse for a minute, put a food in your mouth for 30 seconds, see how much it elevates your heart rate. If it elevates it more than 6 beats per minute, then that's some sort of histamine response. Sometimes reactions to food cannot just be the way our body reacts inside to the protein or to the actual food itself, allergies and sensitivities, but it could be how we're digesting food. So what I found is if I fixed my digestion and had more HCl and had a couple doses of enzymes, and I really balanced my digestion for me, not for what someone told me, but I was tested and I knew that's what I needed, then I was able to tolerate foods that I usually can't tolerate at all. So things like beans and peanut butter, those things I always thought that I had to cut out forever, but I took a dose of Repairvite, which is basically glutamine and aloe vera. I healed the gut, so the gut is really permeable, it can pull apart. So I pulled it together and made it really nice. It's called, like, you know, seal the gut, so that way food allergies, but food can't pass through and your body can't react to it. That's the essence of autoimmunity, is when your body starts to react to the foods that's coming through that intestinal wall that shouldn't be. So I heal the gut, and then from there I made sure I knew, okay, I think I need HCl because I'm burping a lot, I'm bloated between meals. Right after I eat, I start cramping, my poops are irregular, all of that stuff can tie in, and I think most people think it's just large intestine upset. It's usually an issue of HCl or enzymes. So I talk a lot more about this in my gut challenge, but if you truly heal the gut and you properly balance digestion, there are so many times where foods that you once maybe never could tolerate, you now can tolerate. You just have to give your body the time to heal, and sometimes that takes a month or 2 months of avoiding that food completely, repairing that gut, and then you're gonna see really great benefits from it. It's pretty awesome. I love healing the gut because it ties into everything. Nutrient absorption and feeling good and energy levels and adrenal issues usually can be traced back to the gut. So great question. I hope that's helpful. I have a new gut challenge July 11th. So coming up, if you want to jump in and learn what enzymes, HCl you might need, all of that stuff we talk about. It's really a really fascinating process that I've learned with my clients through NTP. Okay, and then the last question kind of ties into that, and it says, oh shit, where'd it go? Oh, Rebecca Himalayan, like the Himalayan salt. She says, I don't feel like you're appreciating my weirdness today, Blake.
I know, I'm just zoned in to make sure the video is going well.
Oh, show them your socks.
Oh, great.
They're so good.
They're Colorado, USA.
And my Nano 6s. Okay, she asked if you could talk about hormone balancing, that would be awesome. I want to know how you balance it and how you fix it. And so this ties into what I just talked about. If your gut is not sealed, your hormones are going to be off. And so it's really important to know that estrogen cycles through the gut, and that thyroid hormone, if your gut health is impaired, then all of the thyroid hormones are going to get wacky, and your estrogen is going to get wacky. And we always see this pattern usually of estrogen dominance or thyroid being really slow and not as quick to respond. And so conversion of T4 to T3 can give you guys this slow thyroid issue. Even if the doctors say your thyroid looks fine, you definitely know like my metabolism sucks and something's going on, my hormones are off. And the biggest thing you can do is heal your gut. And so I think it's so important to, one, know, like if you bloat, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have weird crazy dreams, if you feel spacey or unreal, if you have any sort of like GI upset, don't think my stomach hurts, think this is tying into a lot more than I realized. And so it's really cool to heal the gut because it ties into hormone balance, and that's a huge thing, especially if you're wanting to lose weight and get fit and feel strong. Like, hormones are necessary. So it's, that's like my first step. It's really easy for people to jump into adding hormones into their diets or not into their diets, into their supplement protocol and taking DHEA or whatever it is, but you can't do anything until you fix the gut. So heal the issue, heal the root issue, and you're gonna see benefits all over. And then lastly, just balance, talking about balance, because I talked about it with Abel James this morning, which is a podcast coming out soon, Fat Burning Man. I'll make sure I post. It is just so important to find that balance between listening to your body and knowing when enough is enough, and when you're not having a good day in the gym, not to just push through it and power through it and hurt our adrenals even more, but also knowing that sometimes it sucks to get to the gym. So what I say, like kind of my motto and my theme is like trying to work out at least 5 or 6 days a week. So 5 days is pretty CrossFit-y or pretty weight training, circuit training. One of those days is just a long recovery day, whether that's on a rower or on an Airdyne. One of those days can be a hike, something outside the gym completely with my M-Pack. Just like, getting out of the box is awesome. But then if you come to the gym and you've had, like with me and the M-Pack and all these things are happening, it's like I know that I have to prioritize. So I either have to get extra sleep and maybe cut back on a little bit of my hours when it comes to coaching, if I know that I want to get my workout in and I want my M-Pack to get out. So always looking at your life as like a balancing act. And so if your work is really stressful, even though the gym is your stress relief, be smart about that. Maybe don't go as hard, maybe focus on strength instead of pushing balls to the wall and crashing adrenals. It's just important to really find that balance, because if not, we're just gonna feel like shit all the time. So I'm working on it with you guys. If you have more questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys next week.